So I just got my second set of proofs in the mail. And I don't know if you can see, but how did my hat turn out? What do you think? I just started with the outline. I am thinking about finishing it or embroidering more of it, maybe everything but the skulls. I might try to change to gold. Anyway, I don't know. We'll see. How about some coffee? I don't know why I'm always trying to offer you guys tea and coffee, but I feel like it's part of being a good host, you know? I mean, you're not literally here, but I like the illusion that we're hanging out and that I'm pouring you a cup of coffee or tea and saying, here you are, that's for you. And I also love what I'm inside like now, where it's like you can literally see the lip of your cup and the steam coming off of it. Cheers. Anyway, all right, so let's take a look how these came out. All right, so we're already winning in the size department. So this is more what I'm thinking of size-wise when I think of a book of poetry. So volume 1 and volume 2. Not bad printing, though for some reason I wasn't paying attention when I designed the cover. See how it's all gray? Oh, it's kind of growing on me. All right, so volume 1. Oh, man. All right, so I did not fix that problem when I was... See how the text is lighter? So all my poems I write in my digital journal. I use OneNote. It's not a particularly great digital notebook. I've just been using it for so long I don't feel like moving everything. Anyway, and so then when I'm putting all these together, sometimes the text, when I copy and paste it, I forget to paste as like the same format. Sometimes I just do, Control V instead of whatever it is to... Anyway, man. All right. It's okay. Everything else is great. The only problem is the text is 2 different colors on some of the early poems. Well, I'll need to fix that. Let's look at volume 1. This is currently for sale through a company called Poetizer. They have an app. It's almost like Instagram for poems, and you can publish a book through them. It's very easy because if you've already published the poems through them on the app, they'll do all the work. But you get practically nothing. So I think my book on there, it's like close to $30, and I get barely $5 for each sale. And maybe that's normal, I don't know. But I'm not trying to become wealthy through this. It's mostly for me. But still. All right, well, book 1 looks great. All right, so hopefully by the time you see this, Words from My Brain Volume 1 will be published and will be available. And Volume 2, I'm going to have to make some corrections. But still, I'm still super happy. I like how they turned out. I like how they look. And it's just exciting to see something that I made, Even if no one else ever buys these, to know that these are going to be on my shelf, and to know that I created something and put something out into the world it's a good feeling. How about I read one to you from volume 2? Let's see here. I shall read The Disillusion of Adulthood. It's the very first one, anyway. I was told to grow up, to be mature and wise, to let go of adventure and make-believe lies. I tried and I failed, so I made a disguise to find some acceptance in normal folks' eyes. But the older I get, the more I want to run back to what makes me happy, to what makes life fun. Adulthood's a poopy existence of epic proportions. We trade in our dreams for networking and mortgages. We woke up one morning just wanting to scream, caught in the web of someone else's scheme, trapped in this hell called the American dream. We were promised independence and freedom, but what I got instead was boredom, depression, and feelings of dread, rising and grinding till everything breaks. It's time to start over, now that I'm awake. Now the path that I'm on is the one that I make. Here's to disillusion, here's to deconstruction, to chaos and madness in our evolution. Let's embrace our demons and call them our friends. And yes, they will say that we've gone round the bend, but we have to unravel before we can mend. How about one more? So part 1 is called Shadows of Childhood, and it has to do with 5. It's connected to a piece of art I made also called Shadows of Childhood, which is 5 different toys that were connected to not so much specific memories, but feelings that I had as a child, and more specifically during that transition from childhood to adulthood. And I'll try to post a picture of that piece. I think it's called assemblage sculpture, which basically just means items that you put together for meaning or whatever. Anyway, so the first one, Disillusion of Adulthood, was the toy is Buzz Lightyear, and the thought behind it was that, well, as the title says, you know, when you're a child and you become an adult, you have this idea of what it's going to be like, and just as Buzz had this serious moment of disillusion when he realized he was a toy and life in the world was not what he thought it would be, I feel like we all go through that to some extent. For some of us, it's a little blip. For some of us, it's like an existential crisis. For me, it was an existential crisis. This next one is called Non-Conforming Human. And the toy that's connected with is My Little Pony. And, you know, when you think of My Little Pony, that's, you know, stereotypically, that's not considered a boy's toy, right? It's marketed towards girls. And through a lot of my life, especially my teenage, young adult life, not all of my interests were manly, if you will. And I got teased a lot for that. Really up into my adult life, you know, I've been teased for, you know, I love teacups, or the fact that I like stuffed animals, or, you know, just things that are not, you know, considered the thing in the world. But, and then I also got a lot of, more so, especially when I was younger, teenager, and early adulthood, especially early adulthood, when I started being out in the world. I also got teased for not being black enough, because my interests or the way I speak or whatever wasn't, I don't know, like I got rejected a lot from like friendship by other black people that I knew, that I would meet at work and things like that. And again, not so much now. This is more like teenagers, early 20s. I mean, people would still make comments, you know, every now and then. And I got really insecure about that for a very long time. And honestly, I still am sometimes. So this is the poem. What does it mean to be black? When I talk, people tell me that I sound white, and as though race had an accent, and the color of one's skin determined the way you were supposed to talk. That I'm only allowed to use certain words, and my voice must operate within a certain range. Can't change. If I deviate, I'm deranged. Isn't it strange that people bled and died for equality and freedom, but I am not free to speak the way I do? I don't have equal access to my own interests without being judged, mocked, bullied, laughed at, and told that I don't know what it means to be black. What does it mean to be a man? When I share my interests, I'm told that I'm not very manly because I like ballet and fencing and beautiful teacups and Jane Austen and the color pink and folding laundry. The Met Gala is my Super Bowl. The Devil Wears Prada is more inspiring to me than Braveheart or Rocky. They mock me. Obviously, I'm broken because I don't conform to a society. It's a riot to me that men are supposed to be strong and brave, but if I use my bravery and strength to pursue my own interests, I am judged, mocked, bullied, laughed at, and told I don't know what it means to be a man. So what do I do? I often sit and wonder if there is space on this planet for someone like me, if I'm supposed to be here. Am I just a mistake? Some defective thing that God made as a joke and needs to be recalled, repaired, rewired, recalibrated, rebooted, and restored to factory settings before I can take my place in this world? Or am I perfect? Some magical thing God made as a gift to the world to recall faulty ideas, repair broken hearts, rewire defective constructs, recalibrate dysfunctional mindsets, reboot freedom, and restore to factory settings what it means to be human? I wish I knew. Anyway, so I'm pretty sure from reading those two poems, you will decide either A, I'm going to get this book when it comes out, or B, that's the worst poetry I've ever read, and I'm going to be unfollowing this idiot. Hopefully it's one of the two. If it's just meh, it's a poem, that's actually, sadder to me than anything, but I can't help how I respond to it. All I can do is share what comes out of my brain and my heart. Anyway, but let me know what you think. And I'm going to go fix the type color and order another proof, and hopefully this nightmare will be over. It's not a nightmare. I just want it to be done. Like, I get to a point where I just want things to be done. I'm tired. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm over it. I want to move on to the next project, and that's where I'm at. Oh well. I'm thankful to have the opportunity. It's time for the next adventure. I'll miss you. Cheers.